So that's my bike over there, for some context as to just how big these Staghorn sumac bushes are. Okay, not exactly the most edible plant, although out of the flowers that grow on them, you can apparently use that to make teas or fruit juice. But what's really useful though is it's a tree that can actually be coppiced, okay, which means if you cut it down to the roots, it'll grow back a lot of shoots. Okay, also pollarding, meaning if you cut it down to a certain point on the tree, then it'll send back shoots, which you can actually use. Sorry for those little sounds, it's my Tourette syndrome. But anyways, though, okay, interesting lesson. A lot of people like to think about it like a weed. Well, I think that the very characteristics that make something a weed actually make something very useful. Okay, meaning it's something that you don't have to fertilize, meaning the things that you'd have to normally use pesticides for, those are things you don't have to irrigate, you don't have to fertilize, you don't really have to do propagation, they just grow. Cut them down, coppice them, and then they grow back. Incredibly useful. And it's like the size of these things makes it so that way they could be realistically used to make, say, like if I was desperate, I found a forest of sumac. You could literally use it to make anything from garden fences. They say a round wood timber framed structure. And I actually remember learning on a Kiersten video that if you take like just random wood or whatever, make a structure out of it, the more rot resistant the shingles, the better. Cedar, even better with black locust as well. What can actually happen is that if you put like charcoal or something over that, and then I guess alternating layers of like clay and charcoal, and then finally moss, it makes something that requires no artificial substances, that's waterproof. And then if you can find like blue rocks, like slate type rocks, Bangor bluestone as it's called where I'm from, that's a way to make a structure which could maybe provide 2 to 3, maybe as many as 4 years worth of water resistance with no man-made materials whatsoever. It's incredibly useful skill, like if you're going into the woods for long periods of time or whatever. Hey, there's the sky. I think that's some type of, not exactly red pine, don't know exactly. But anyways, though, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, but if you were to use that, have like a pole structure, not even necessarily sumac, not even necessarily sumac, what is it? Sumac or other type of maybe black locust, whatever will produce poles, and then shingles of either cedar or black locust, and then if you can get like slate over that, and then slate shingles over that, and then finally, what is it, like slate shingles over that, and then finally, so like layers of maybe charcoal, not biochar, you want it to be charcoal, so it still could burn, but obviously won't because the oil will bond with the water, forming a kind of waterproofing. Even better if you could, like, say, melt pine sap from, say, like freshly blown over pine trees, maybe a little bit dried up. It's called fat wood. It's incredibly flammable, but it's also can be like nature's glue, make watertight materials or whatever. That is very, very incredibly useful stuff. So if you were to have, say, like coppice from sumac or black locust, oak, ash, beech, whatever, and then maybe say cedar, even better black locust shingles, and maybe slate shingles, and then alternating layers like clay, charcoal, and finally moss. That's a way that you can make a waterproof structure which might last 3 to 7 years maybe. I'm just making a rough guess as to the lower estimate, but I guess the closest precedent might be the Icelandic houses, or again the Kiersten video. Don't know how long those roofs would last for, but if you use the slate shingles, that's something which could last hypothetically indefinitely if you're able to keep it cool and dry, and maybe find some sort of like a natural fungicide, antifungal material to prevent the stuff from getting rotten. Okay, fun fact about sumacs and coppicing. Bye.